Any kid who has gone to summer camp for the first time knows the excitement that precedes it. We can't wait. It is your first time away from your parents. It's like a sleepover, but for a week or more. Freedom! I couldn't wait. I was so excited. I had been camping with my parents, but this would be like camping with a whole bunch of other kids. Before we continue, please like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when I upload the next video. And we would be living in cabins instead of tents. We would have actual bathrooms and a kitchen. It wasn't really going to be like camping. It was going to be a week with friends doing all sorts of cool outdoor stuff. I counted the days until it was camp time. When the day finally arrived, my parents packed up my stuff in the car. Then we collected my friends Manu and Chuck and their bags and headed off to camp. My parents helped us get settled in. Then, after lots of hugs and assurances of how I would be missed, they drove home. I was assigned a different cabin from Manu and Chuck. The cabins were named after Native American tribes. My cabin was Comanche. Chuck and Manu were in Arapaho. We liked the names because it made us sound like warriors, though I was a little worried about not being assigned to the same cabin as my friends. We also noticed that there was a trading post where we could purchase things like candy and soda and t-shirts. Cool. Unlimited candy and soda and no parents to rein us in and say that's enough or you will get rotten teeth? The fellas and I agreed that the week was off to a great start. I was thrilled, though I was still a bit nervous about being in a different cabin from Manu and Chuck. I was sad that our triumvirate of awesomeness was not going to extend being bunkmates. I hoped that my cabin mates would be cool. My cabin counselor was a guy named Dave, who was a college student. He gave us our tour of the camp. How awesome! Canoeing, hiking, swimming, sports, fishing, arts, and crafts. There was even horseback riding, which I was happy about because I was worried that I would miss my horse back home. There were 4 other boys in my cabin: Tate, Mick, Sean, and Rakeem. I was a little nervous about meeting the other boys and hoped that we would get along. As we all got to know each other, I learned that Rakeem and Tate lived about 10 minutes from me and were good friends from school. Tate's hair was braided in really tight cornrows, and I felt envious of him for that, because I had always thought that cornrows looked cool. But my hair was not right for that style. Mike and Sean were twin brothers who looked exactly alike. I envied them too. I had always wanted a brother and thought that a twin would be the best. I have a sister. We talked most of the night after lights out. Dave didn't seem to care. He was hanging out with some of his fellow counselors. It was already fun. I was feeling less worried about not rooming with Chuck and Manu. The next day, my friends and I went about our day. My cabin mates were excited because they had never been horseback riding before. Tate had never been canoeing, but Rakeem had gone whitewater rafting and thought that canoeing might be similar. Before the end of the day, I had 4 new friends. I didn't see much of Chuck and Manu other than the meal times because the schedules were organized according to the cabin. Some days we had free time together. I met Chuck and Manu's bunkmates. They seemed cool, but not as cool as my 4 new friends. Chuck and Manu made a point of eating lunch with us. I taught my new friends about horses and riding. In the nature house, we got to hold snakes and a hedgehog and fed some baby birds. We also helped to feed baby chickens. I had a lot of fun. The funny thing was, while I was with my new friends, I didn't really miss Chuck and Manu that much. I was thrilled when our cabins did things together, and I could see my best buds, but I didn't feel as lonely as I had originally thought I would. I was worried if that meant that I was not as good a friend with them as I thought I had been. I wondered if because I was having so much fun with Tate and Rakeem and the twins and forgetting about my old friends who I had known most of my life. I also worried that Chuck and Manu would feel betrayed or that they would think I liked my new friends better. The more I thought about that, the more concerned I became about Chuck and Manu's feelings. They didn't seem too upset, but still. I decided to talk to them because I didn't want them to feel left behind. During our next free time, I made a point of hanging out with Manu and Chuck. We started kicking around a soccer ball. "How are your roommates?" I asked them. "They're okay," Manu said. "Yeah, they're alright. Those guys aren't really adventurous though," Chuck agreed. "You seem to be getting along with your friends pretty well." "I am," I said. I was real nervous because I wasn't sure that I would like my cabin mates. I was kind of disappointed that I was not bunking with you guys. "Yeah, so was I," Manu said. "I would trade one of our roommates for you, but you look like you're having an awesome time." "I really like those guys," I said. That's cool, Chuck said. I'm jealous. You lucked out. Our cabin mates aren't very interesting. I'm sorry, I said. Why? Manu asked. You didn't do it. I know, I said, but I don't want you guys to think that I like you guys any less. You're my two best buds. We know, Chuck said. You were just lucky. Yeah, Manu said. I didn't blame you for making friends. Thanks, I said. I feel better. If you guys want, you can hang out with us. That sounds awesome, Manu said. We can be your not roommates. Yeah, said Chuck. Comanche will be the cabin of awesomeness when we were all there. And that's how it went. Chuck and Manu hung out at our cabin with my new friends. My new friends became their new friends too. We all had the best few weeks of our lives up to that point. I taught the new guys, that was what Manu and Chuck called them, about horseback riding. Rakeem taught us about sculpting with materials we found in nature. Tate taught us about ziplining. It was a little kids course. As an adult, I go on more challenging courses. The twins taught us about making our own fishing lures. All 7 of us became an impressive soccer team. We made matching tie-dye t-shirts. Our triumvirate of awesome became a septumvirate of awesome. After camp, we all remained great friends. Returning to summer camp the next year, and the years after that, we made sure that we would be at camp at the same time, and try to get assigned to the same cabin. It was great. When I think of that time at camp, I always am reminded of that old saying, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver, and the other gold. There is truth in that saying, and you can never have enough friends. I hope you liked the video. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you. Hey, thank you for watching. Please click on the right to subscribe if you liked the video. And please don't forget to click on the bell icon when you subscribe so that you can be notified when we upload a new video. Watch more videos on the left, including our playlist. Thank you.